My full reaction to the Saudi Arabia Fight Night headlined by Adesanya versus Imavov. This is my first time looking at the entire card. I know kind of the main card layout, but this is my first time looking at the entire card. So we're going to go through every single fight with our predictions and breakdowns of what we think is going to happen. I will release a final prediction video later this week. This is early, just so we can see what's going on. As I said, I haven't looked at the entire card. I want to do a little bit more research, but this is just first look. Let's get into it. Nice. Hold on a minute. We got Izzy versus Adesanya and Imavov. Off the rip, I see Adesanya being able to take down Izzy in the early rounds and kind of wearing on him. And later in the fight, we've seen Adesanya thrive a bit more than we've seen Izzy thrive, and I understand his gas tank was kind of an issue in the beginning, but as I see it now, I think he's done a little bit better in his last couple fights with his gas and energy consumption in the later rounds. I think he's a better dirty boxer than Izzy as well, so I think he's going to play into being that grimy wrestler, fighter, up close, in your face, dirty boxing, and I think it's going to work out well for him. I don't think he's going to finish Izzy. But I see him getting a decision, maybe 49-48, 3 rounds to 2. Izzy's good at making shit look close. That's the fucking problem, because he's tip-tap and all of a sudden he's a couple strikes away from you in the round, and it just looks like you've been dominating him. But on numbers, it doesn't. And also, Adesanya bruises like really well. Like, he doesn't take damage. He's kind of like Topuria in that way, where he doesn't take damage compared to Imavov. We've seen kind of get busted up a little bit. I see Imavov taking him to a hard-fought decision, 49-48 as of now. But Izzy does have a couple advantages. He has, I think, a 5-inch reach advantage, and he has 5-round experience, obviously. Yeah, he does have 5 inches. That's crazy. I'm excited for this one. I'm excited to see how Izzy comes back too, because he did look good against his last fight with the champ. So, Shara versus Michael Venom Page. I think Shara's overrated, to be honest with you. I don't think he's that good. I think his kicks are his best weapon, and being the shorter guy by an inch and a 6-inch reach advantage for Michael Venom Page is going to be very difficult for him to overcome, especially with his kicks, because Page is very light on his feet. He has that karate style, kind of like Wonder Boy. He's very difficult to hit, and he wants you to come lunging in so he can strike back. He's very light on the toes. I think he's going to struggle. And I could see him getting KO'd in round 2 or early round 3. I could see him getting really frustrated and going in for takedowns in round 3, not being able to hit Page. And I don't think that he's the same level of fighter as, like, Ian Gary. I don't think he's that good on the ground, to be honest with you, which is kind of crazy to say because he is Dagestani. But that's how these guys are. They're Islam is the only exception where they're really good at everything. These guys are usually favored to one side or the other, just like Umar is favored to his striking, not his wrestling, and we saw Marab take advantage of that. This guy, Shara, is amazing. Don't get me wrong; he's very flashy, but I think that's the only chance he has, is catching Page with something very flashy, because I don't think his regular kicks are going to work, and his punches really don't do much. We've seen that before. It took him, 3 rounds to finish Tricoli? The guy was a standing heavy bag, bro. Just moving towards him, throwing one punch around. I think he's overrated, and I think Page is pretty good. Also, I've heard that he's been actually training for a welterweight fight. But I mean, that's what he said in camp, at least. That's what I've heard because I was there. So I think he said he's been training for a welterweight fight, but this fight came up and they offered him a lot of money, so he took it, which could ultimately be good for his chin because we all know fighting in your regular weight class does better for your chin than fighting at a lower weight class. Plus, Shar is a very small 185er. He's not a big guy. So I'm curious to see how this one goes, but I really see Paige getting the finish late round 2, early round 3. Enough said. On to the next. As I digress. Sergey versus Jairzinho. I don't know, man. This one's a toss-up for me, to be honest with you. To me, it feels like which guy. This is, all right, I'm going to lay it out. This one is which guy can fight his fight. And by that, I mean change the game plan up a little bit and adapt, okay? Because Jairzinho does not do good with heavy hitters. Sergey Pavlovich does not do good with fighters that want to stand on the outside, okay? Other than Tom Aspinall, we're not going to talk about that. That guy's just different. He's meant to be the heavyweight champ, and John Jones is ducking him. It's just what it is. Let's be real. John Jones is ducking him. Okay? Sergey doesn't do well with really fast guys. Jairzinho doesn't do well with really heavy hitters. I could see this fight going one of two ways. Either Sergey gets the early KO, round 1, early round 2, or Jairzinho gets the decision. Because I don't see Pavlovich getting flatlined again. I don't think Jairzinho hits that hard as Tom Aspinall. I mean, I'd be very surprised, but I think it's me round 1, early round 2 KO for Sergey. I just think he hits too hard, and I think if he can work on not just being a headhunter, I think it'll go really well for him. And hopefully he's been working on that because, golly, his last couple fights, it's like he's not even trying to throw combos to the body. It's just head. It's heavyweight, though. I mean, what are we expecting, right? All right, Saeed versus Vinicius. I think Saeed's going to dominate him and get the submission. We've seen Oliveira not do that well on the ground. Round 1, round 2. These guys are just built different, and it's the truth. And Saeed's really good for the weight class. He's very strong, and he has really good submissions. If Oliveira can keep him off of him and do well with takedown defense, maybe you can get the KO, but I just don't see it going that way. I think Saeed's too quick. He's too fast. I say round 2, round 3 submission if he doesn't lock it up quick in the first. You know what? Fuck it. I think I'm pretty confident in this one. Round 1 submission for Saeed. Yeah. I think that's a big hole in Vinicius. Oliveira's game is his grappling. I just don't think it's on the level of Saeed's, Then we've seen Brazilians struggle with the wrestling aspect of things a lot. Move on to the next. Ikram versus Andre Muniz. I see why they gave Ikram this fight. The guy has no pop in his shots, and he just has really long arms. I think Ikram's going to get the KO and get a standing ovation per usual in Saudi. I think he deserves it. I don't like the special treatment, but if he gets the KO, I think he deserves it, KO is a KO. It is what it is. They're going to always get standing ovations, but I don't like the special treatment of giving this guy someone who doesn't hit hard, while American fighters and Brazilian fighters and basically every other ethnicity of fighter has to get a tough fight back to back to back, and these guys get special treatment of easy layups. We saw that with Umar. We're seeing that with Ikram. It's just not fair. Yeah, I still think he's going to get the KO because I don't see Andre doing much to him, to be honest with you. Little tip-tap shots are not going to work, and if he starts to get ahead on the scorecards, Ikram's going to go to his wrestling. On to the next, as I digress. Imavov versus Khan Offline. I see Imavov piecing him up. Piecing him up and taking him down. Yeah. Round 2, round 3, TKO. Enough said about that one. Here we go. Shamil Gaziev. Ooh, good chicken. Ah, yes. Good chicken. Ah, yes. Very hungry. Good chicken. This guy's crazy, okay? 6'4", built like the guy from... I don't even know. He's kind of his own fucking character, isn't he? He's just a big fucking guy. You know, at the weight limit, he probably has to cut a lot to get there. Poor guy. You know, he's taking inhaler breaks in between rounds. He's gassed after round 1 quickly. But I think he's going to smudge this guy because he has no pop in his shots. Thomas Peterson, we've seen before, just not enough pop for heavyweight. You know, he should be a middleweight. Look at his frame. Shamil is built like a heavyweight, and he's going to perform as a heavyweight. KO, round 1. Or he's going to get smudged against the fence for 3 strong rounds, okay? I'll go with Al Sawadi. Hopefully Terrence McKinney can get it done round 1. If not, it's going to be a long night for him. Fares Siam, I think, is going to win by KO round 2. I think Jasmine has an energy behind her right now, and she has momentum, and I think she's going to get the decision. This is the first women's fight in a long time in Saudi, huh? It might be the first one ever. Good for them. It's going to be a boring decision. They're probably never going to have women out there again, but I think Jasmine's going to get the decision. Bogdan Grad versus Lucas Alexander. You know, me and Lucas go way back. We've actually trained before, and I'm confident in my pick that he's going to get this one done. Hamdi Abdul Wahab versus Jamal Pogues. Let's go with Abdul Wahab. Okay? Never seen these guys fight. Yeah. Abdul Wahab's going to win. I digress, okay? Most excited for Izzy versus Imavov, and Shara versus Michael Venom Page. Till next time, I digress.